See, Amy's got a good background too, so.
Oh, I got my basement out of the background, sorry.
There you go, there you go.
I don't even know how to do this.
So it's not hard. It's go to your actions, the three little menu up button, and then click on, let's see, meeting options. That's pretty good. And I say meeting options, that's not it. I've got to find the right one. Device settings, apply background effects, that's what it is. And then that'll give you the options of different things.
I don't see that.
That's there.
You don't see the background effects if you go to the menu option?
No, I don't have a menu option.
Oh, well then that's going to be hard to do. Bill, how are you?
Hi, Spencer. How you doing?
Good, good. Good to see you. Let's see what's something good we can add in the background. I can't even see. They're so small. I can't see what they are. So. But you can do that with Zoom too, Shanna.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I know a lot of people use Zoom. But yeah, if you make one up in PowerPoint or PDF or Word or whatever, you can save it and just make it your background. You do have to. So it looks weird. I don't know. Like if I look on my screen, the website is backwards.
It's not to us.
Okay. Yeah, and I was like, wait. I made it backwards. How did I do that? But yeah, apparently that's the way it looks when you make it up yourself. So.
I mean, it looks like you have a green screen going on. So.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's like. Yeah, exactly.
Tell us what's happening on the weather right there.
Yeah, that's right. And over here we have a front coming in.
Right.
Captain Rick, how you doing? We got all kinds of, well, that's right. Captain Tracy's from New York. I was thinking he was from Pennsylvania as well. Joyce, what's going on in Maryland? Hey, Joyce.
Yes.
Hey, what's going on in Maryland? Y'all doing okay up there?
We're so we're very COVID overprotective, I think, to some extent. So
Okay.
I'm not doing a whole lot of recruiting because they're not allowing me to.
I got you. I got you.
How are you guys doing?
Some of the same. We're doing okay though. Yeah, I don't think anybody's doing crazy recruiting, but some people have had more success than others, that's for sure. We've been lucky, but we've had a lot of interest, people seeking us out, so that was good. But
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
It's been a challenge without
I'm
it being.
still running classes, which is good. I'm back to running them, and that's a big positive because without them, I wouldn't be able to push the other ones through for training.
Right. Y'all had a challenge too, Amy?
Yeah, I mean, all of our events have been canceled where we've done the
Right.
majority of our recruiting, from community days to different events in the township, and it's just can't go anywhere and get anywhere.
Yeah.
So we're relying primarily on social media.
Right. No, exactly.
Actually, that's where I'm doing all my advertising.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to talk to Jordan to see how his Virtual Citizens Academy went. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to view it, but
No, I didn't either.
neat.
So hoping he'd join us today. I'd pick his brain on it.
We have a realtor who's one of our fire police members who can do the 3D virtual tours, and we
Really?
uploaded them of all of our facilities.
Well, that's
So
pretty
been
neat.
like during COVID, when I couldn't bring anybody in the station, I'm like, hey, if you go to this link, you can actually take a virtual tour of our station and see what the tradition looks like. And you can go into all the bunk rooms and see the kitchen and everything, just to give them an idea what it looks like inside the station.
Oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to add that to the roundtable at the end, if that's okay, just to get you to say something about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're getting ready to post the same thing. I recorded one of our lieutenants, and he was like, "Hey, welcome to Station 10.
Yeah.
Follow me." And then,
that's pretty
I kind of followed him around, and he explained. And it's mostly for kids.
Yeah.
Because they can't come do firehouse tours. But then I also recorded a female firefighter reading a book. It's called No Dragons for Tea.
Yes, that's a great book. We use that.
Such a good book. It's hard. They don't print it anymore, so you have to buy it used. So she was reading it, and we had Sparky sit on the ground. And so she's reading it to Sparky, and we have a very animated fire marshal who's Sparky. And then we also were able to do it in front of the fire truck with a Spanish-speaking firefighter. So we're going to put it up in both English and Spanish.
That is great. Oh my gosh, that's a great idea. Yeah, that No Dragons for Tea is good.
Creative.
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
Safety education team is normally in the schools all this month, and they're actually creating videos for the schools to download to show the kids instead of being able to go and do it themselves.
Right.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And to Shams, to your point about making the video, the 360 tours is pretty neat too. But even if you couldn't get in touch with a realtor, you could do kind of like the old MTV Cribs with your firehouse and just get somebody silly walking through the firehouse. And that's
kind of what we did. Like I had the guys working out. I had and Sparky was there, so he was on the treadmill. And then we went into the kitchen, and the guys were cleaning, and they had their face masks on and everything. And Lieutenant's like, just like you guys, our guys have to do chores, so
that's pretty good. Well, Amy, if you're all set, we'll go ahead and get started. It looks like we've got 13 in, and we usually get a few trickle in as we go. So I'll go ahead and welcome everybody. We are recording. I finally remember. So we are recording this. And tonight we're fortunate enough, we're going to have Amy Behun to present tonight on, and I took it off my email, on how to utilize associate members effectively. And she's from the Cranberry Township Fire and Emergency Services up in Pennsylvania. And Amy, if I remember right, that's just northeast of Pittsburgh?
Yes, we're about a half hour north of Pittsburgh.
Okay, all right. Well, go ahead, Amy. Thanks for being with us tonight. Take it away.
Thanks for having me. So let me share my content here. And okay, can everybody see the main page here?
We can, or I can.
I can.
Okay, great. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about the success we've had with our associate program that we've initiated. So I'm going to talk a little bit about background of our department, how we got to that point of initiating the associate program, and how we manage it and how successful it's been. So as far as the background of the Cranberry Township Volunteer Fire Company, we've been serving Cranberry Township since 1959. We do cover 22 square miles in southwest Butler County. We border Beaver County and Allegheny County. Currently, the population of our township is 31,000, and with the growth, they're expecting our population to increase to 50,000 by 2030. So the reason that's important is trying to grow with the township, and how are we going to continue coverage? Currently, we are an all-volunteer response. Me personally, I actually work as an employee of the township to provide administrative support to the township or to the fire company. My position has existed since the late 90s to assist with those administrative duties. And in addition, our department is part of what we call the SAFER group, which is a group of 5 departments, all from Southwest Butler County, that banded together and created a response coverage plan, essentially, a mutual aid response coverage plan. We have one tone that dispatches all 5 companies for any major event, structure fires, commercial fires, those type of things. And the idea was to get your worst response on your worst day to provide the best coverage. So we may get 5 trucks with 2 people on it each, but we know what we're going to get from each of our departments because they're going to band together. And we created an entire series of jogs to outline exactly what's supposed to happen in every single situation, who's coming in, what your duties are going to be. So we've been very forward thinking of trying to maintain the service that we provide in this area. We are a fully tax supported department. So and that came through a township agreement that they entered in back in 1982. Very forward thinking at the time. Very few of them existed in the state, where essentially the township came in and said, we will take over your facilities, your apparatus, all of your costs, your maintenance expenses through a fire tax that's assessed. And in return, we want you to answer fire calls and train. And that's what we ask of you. So that's what the township agreement has been since '82. In 2016, they entered into a strategic plan to determine, with the future of the township, what did that mean for the fire company. In 2017, it resulted in the creation of the Department of Fire and Emergency Services as an administrative support, a real whole department to support the fire company in many things, as far as redoing bylaws, creating policies, administrative oversight, those type of things. Another recommendation that came out of it was alternative staffing. Find some sort of alternative staffing model that would work, that would continue the volunteer coverage that the fire company provides to the township. The last thing that they wanted to do was go paid. How can we make this work to continue the volunteer model that we have? In 2018 and into 2019, we completed a almost $2 million station renovation of our 2 facilities, including a 9,000 square foot addition to our main station that included sleeping quarters, day room, kitchen, fitness area, that we can accommodate the staffing models that we anticipated that we would need moving forward. So we do operate out of 2 stations as one company. We just have 2 different locations throughout the township. We're single dispatch. We can respond out of either station. And we also have a training facility that we utilize. And I'll be honest, we want for very little in Cranberry Township. They are incredibly supportive of our department and the things that we need. And all of this is very beneficial of trying to recruit members. Try to point out the best that you have, the best you have to offer to them. And even if you don't have the best of everything, you know, what's something unique about your department that you can offer to somebody to come in? You know, you have to find those niches of what would make you attractive to someone. You know, for us, like I said, we want for very little, and we have the best of many things. So as far as how we're structured, we do have a chief of fire and emergency service that is a paid position through the township, more of an administrative chief. He can take over some operational roles in the event of a large incident, but he's primarily administrative oversight. And then we have a series of volunteer chiefs, assistant chiefs, captains, and lieutenants. And then the organization is governed by a board of directors itself. So when we initiated the associate membership, the idea was to get members into our department who are already qualified, who could immediately get on a fire truck and answer the call. We didn't want to have to monkey around with training. We didn't want to have to wait 9 months until they got their Fire 1 or any of that. We needed people that could get on the truck and respond to the call. So we require a minimum certification of Firefighter 1 and basic vehicle rescue, and obviously CPR AED usually comes with that. And they had to be a current member in good standing of an existing department for 2 years. And we require a letter from their chief that validates that service that they have. As part of membership, they're eligible for all of our incentive programs, all of the training opportunities that we offer, and the staffing options that we have, which I'll get into that in a little bit. As far as associates, they're not considered full members, so they have no permission to vote. They don't have to attend our company meetings, and they can't hold an elected or an appointed office. So primarily, they're there to train with us and to run calls. For minimum requirements for them to stay on our roster, we have an active status that's based on a quarterly point system that takes into consideration how many trainings you've attended, how many duty shifts you've pulled, any committee meetings, company meetings, the percentage of call response. All of those things work into our quarterly incentive. And points wise, it equates to that they have to attend at least 3 trainings with us in a quarter, and they have to complete a minimum of at least 2 6-hour duty or stipend shifts. And while it doesn't seem a lot, we were trying to provide some flexibility, that they could come as they felt that they could fit into their schedule. We didn't want it to be too much of a burden, that they felt that they couldn't meet the requirements. So we felt that that was pretty reasonable to ask of someone to come. And the reason that we require their trainings is we want them to be familiar with everybody, all of our responders, our equipment, our apparatus, so that when they are there, they're comfortable with it. If they do not maintain that active status for a period of 2 consecutive quarters, we remove them from the roster. We will allow our associates to drive. If they have previous driving experience at their current department, we request a letter from their chief that says they are an approved driver and what apparatus that they have been qualified to drive currently in their department. They have to have either EVOC or EVDT and pump operations for our engine tower and our rescue, since our rescue has a pump on it. We run them through an abbreviated apparatus familiarization and road test. They do have to complete at least 2 hours of drive time with an experienced driver. And then they have to demonstrate their proficiency in the apparatus and get signed off by a chief officer. Fairly simple. They can get most of that done in 1 or 2 shifts, and then we can get them signed off to drive. So that also helps, because we're not required to try and find someone who's a regular brigade member as a driver when we have these associates that are on station. If they don't have any prior driving experience and they're still, relatively young, we have a few of those, then they have to go through our standard driving criteria that is established for all of our members, which is a 5-hour, they have to go through the cone course, the VFIS, get the EVOD, all of that. So we have those guidelines in place if they do want to learn to drive when they're with us. Here's the staffing model that we're currently working with. So we do offer a stipend, and it's eligible for either our regular brigade members or the associates that come in staff. So either one can earn that. It's not specific just to the associates, but that's something that we use to attract them. It's funded through the fire tax that we get from the township as part of our recruitment and retention fund that we maintain with them. We run 4 shifts a day, 7 days a week, so we're trying to get coverage on station 24 hours a day. And those are the hours that we have set up for the shifts. Right now, our maximum staffing is 1 driver operator and 3 suppression qualified firefighters. So in order to earn the stipend on a shift, you have to be a suppression qualified firefighter. If you're not a suppression qualified firefighter, you can still come and do staffing, but that works into our quarterly incentive as a duty shift. It's not considered a stipend. So we've got the 2 different systems that run simultaneous. Right now, all of our stipend shifts are staffed at our main station where we did the big addition with the sleeping quarters. We are going to begin running a trial where we're going to increase our staffing to 6 from the 4. We just put that out today, actually, to try and staff both of our stations. The idea is that we'll have a minimum of 2 firefighters at each station. We're never going to have 1 and 1. We're never going to split the crews, have 1 and 3. It has to be a minimum at 2 at each station if we're going to make that work. And 1 obviously needs to be a driver operator. So we're going to see how that works. If we can continue that into the next year, we're trying to justify a budget increase to pay for more stipend slots. So we're going to trial it to the end of the year, see if we can get enough interest in that it will be successful for us. All of the sign up is first come, first serve. We manage a calendar on our internal website. So individuals can go on and they can sign up for whatever shifts work for them, any of those previous times that we had. They can make notes and state that, they want to sleep in bunk room number 3. They're going to be the driver. We're flexible that if they're coming from work, if they're going to be an hour late, that they can just make a note that says, hey, I'll begin at 7 instead of 6. So we're trying to, like I said, be flexible with this and make it work for everyone. We do, like I said, the stipend payment is $25 per shift that we pay monthly. We do have to adhere to Fair Labor Standard Act. So the maximum is 4 shifts per week that they can earn a stipend for, or $100 a week. And so they max out at $5,200 a year. We did meet with our solicitor to try and increase that a little bit to get closer to what they feel the cutoff would be to that Fair Labor Standard Act number. And he encourages us not to try and push that limit. So that's something that, if this is a program that you want to adopt or look into, you got to be very careful about how that works in your area and, what dollar amount that can you work within without sort of crossing that line into having paid employees, essentially. For our onboarding of our associates, once they've completed the application process, which is an application, a background check, and then a physical we provide for them, we have specific evenings set aside twice a month where they'll come into the station and do a one-on-one with our training coordinator and some officers. They'll do an apparatus and equipment familiarization. They'll run through some skill competencies because as far as our officers are concerned, they want to make sure they're getting somebody who is a competent firefighter. You may have been in for 2 years and you have your certifications. That doesn't mean you know how to throw a ladder right or that you know the right end of the nozzle. So they're going to run through some of that just to make sure that they are competent and they're comfortable with them. They also do a radio familiarization. Like I mentioned, we sit on the corner of 2 additional Connies, so we have 3 radios in all of our trucks, 1 for Butler, 1 for Allegheny, 1 for Beaver. Plus we cover the turnpike, plus we've got township frequencies. So we've got like radios coming out of our ears. And it takes a little understanding of which radio does what and who you can talk to on which one. And before they come that night, I do a Zoom session with them, especially now with COVID. That was the easiest way to do it. And I go through all of our guidelines, the policies that they need to follow. I go over the website. How do they sign up for the shifts? How do they record their duty logs so they get paid? All of that fun minutia stuff that they need to know. When they do come in, we give them a full set of PPE and as well as some equipment such as cutters and a screwdriver and some other fun things they put in their pocket. They each get their own SCBA mask. We assign them a locker. They get accountability tags, some company wear, some t-shirts and stuff, and the station access fob. In the end, if it's somebody who doesn't work out or they determine that it's not something they want and they just never come around, we're out like 2 t-shirts and maybe a fob they don't return. So it's not a huge investment as for the materials that we provide to them. They get all past generation PPE. We just got all new PPE for our 35 sets of PPE. So we have some relatively good condition PPE. We're not giving them stuff that's 20 years old by any means. It's all safe. It's all wearable. But they obviously don't have the newest stuff that we have. Again, if in 6 months they never have come back, we're out a t-shirt and a station fob that we can deactivate electronically. So, we'd like to keep them around and do what it takes, but in the end, again, we're not out that much if they don't come back. So we talked a little bit earlier about how we've been doing our recruiting. Primarily, we've run our marketing through social media campaigns. We ran a Facebook and Instagram ad. We have assistance from our township communications department that does all of our marketing material for us. So they created this great flyer, PDF'd it, put it out there on our website. And that's primarily how we've gotten that out there. We've gotten a handful that are word of mouth. They go back to their department and say, hey, you should come to Cranberry and belong. We did our initial campaign in October of 2019. The associate program has been in our bylaws since 2018. But with the completion of the construction project last year, that's when we were ready to really move forward to big campaign to bring them in. So we did an initial campaign in October of 2019, and then we did another one in January of 2020 after we got the initial ones in. Speaking of fire calls. So yeah, and essentially it was all social media. And I was pretty amazed as far as the feedback that we got. Since we started in October 2019, I've received 93 inquiries of people who are interested in the program. And I'm talking from 2 hours away from another state, chiefs of departments. I mean, this really gathered a lot of interest because there's nothing like it in our area. As far as I know, there's nobody else who does a similar program. And again, it's Cranberry. Our name is out there. Everybody knows people from Cranberry. Unfortunately, we're spoiled and we've got the best of everything. So, and some people are like, hey, it gives me an opportunity just to go run calls somewhere different. It's not my county and it's not my department. But I was really surprised at the level and the quality of people who were interested. Like I said, we had chiefs and assistant chiefs and all kinds of line officers and people with many years of experience and people with 3 years of experience. So we really hit the gamut. And the first weekend we had that out, I came in on Monday going, I don't know what to do. I've got 30 people I have to answer. So it was, we were really hit the ground running with it. Out of the 93, we onboarded 34 new associates. Since then, 5 were removed for non-activity. They never came back, or they just didn't meet the activity level, and 3 resigned due to life changes. So currently, with one that was a previous member before we did that, we've got 27 associates that are actually part of our fire company. And year to date, they've provided over 4,800 hours of coverage by staffing our station, doing those shifts, those stipend shifts that we have. So we've been very fortunate that we've had that coverage and that we've had the people there. Obviously during COVID, that was a unique situation that many people didn't plan for. We had people who were off work and out of jobs. We were not allowing, let me rephrase that. We were encouraging on-station staffing to reduce the number of people coming in and out of the building. So we wanted to get people in the station and stay in the station. It was the same group of people to eliminate those people coming in and out responding to calls. So unless it was a significant incident, we actually told our home responders, don't come. Just let the on-station crew handle it. And unless it's a significant event, a Station 90 call or structure fire, or we call for more assistance, just let the station crew handle it. And at one point in May, I believe, we were at 95% coverage of every position of every shift for the entire month. I mean, it was pretty amazing. As we've moved through the summer, obviously, once things started to relax a little bit, people had family and kids and other obligations, and we're not nearly as high. I think we're in the 60% coverage right now. And keep in mind, our brigade members can also staff. So our staffing options aren't limited to just associates. And everybody's just gotten along really well. Like, there really hasn't been any incidents where the associates feel left out, where they feel that they're treated differently. They've trained with us. They're part of our organization. I mean, there's guys that are there regularly, and they might as well just practically be regular members. I mean, there's no difference, and we've been fortunate that it has worked out as well as it has. That's the end of my presentation as far as the information I have. But I'm happy to answer any questions you have on it as far as how we do things. But that's how we run our program.
Amy, that sounds amazing. Thank you. Yeah, that's really interesting, especially that last number there. That's pretty incredible. So, so if you have questions, there's a way to raise your hand, and it's just a little hand button. So if you have that, then I'll unmute you. If you can't find that, that's okay too, and just unmute yourself and holler out. So, but Amy, I did have a question. Could you go back to or just say, what were the requirements, the hour requirements?
So as far as the hour requirements, it's not necessarily an hour, but it's a point system that we have per
That's
quarter.
right.
So
Okay.
it equates to 3 trainings in a quarter, or I'm sorry, and at least 2 6-hour duty shifts.
Okay. Okay.
So that's what kind of the points equate out to. And we do trainings on Tuesday nights, plus we allow for internal training. So if we get a crew together that's at the station and they want to go to the training facility, excuse my dogs.
That's okay.
And they want to go throw ladders, or they want to work at the forcible entry door, or they want to pull the hand lines off the new truck, they get credit for that, and that counts towards their training. So we're trying to be flexible with them. Okay, you may not be able to make it to our department training on Tuesdays, but if you're doing some sort of training while you're here, you'll get credit for that.
Absolutely. That's pretty interesting. Do you have any of your regular members that want to go and become associate?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, because then they lose their voting rights and everything. So our
Sure.
regular brigade member, and plus you have to belong to another department to qualify as an associate.
Okay. All right. So we've got a few comments here. Let's see if I can pull them up. So Karen says hello, and said great job and amazing. That really is a great system. So we do have one question here, and I'm gonna go to David and unmute him. David, go ahead, bud.
Hi, Amy, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great, thanks for sharing. I have a couple questions. How many volunteers do you have?
Well, that's it. Let me break that down. So our department consists of brigade, which are obviously responders. We have non-brigade, which we call administrative support. They're people like do our fire prevention and stuff. We have an auxiliary, we have a junior program, plus we have associates. So if you put everybody all in, we've got about 150 volunteers if you include everybody. When it comes down to brigade, we're running in the, I believe, the high 30s to low 40s of our brigade members. Then we're adding the additional 27 associate members. So as far as our emergency response, we're roughly between 70 and 75, I believe, the last time I ran those numbers.
And roughly how many calls a year do you have?
Almost 1,000.
And are those all fire calls, no medical?
Correct. We do not run any EMS.
And are you willing to share through Spencer your contact information?
Absolutely.
Because I would love to have a conversation with you.
Absolutely.
And everybody doesn't.
Spencer's got my email address. He can send it to
you. Okay.
What we usually do, and I'll get, if Amy's okay, I'll get her presentation, her slides, and we'll send this out to everybody. Usually tomorrow we'll upload it to YouTube, this presentation as well. So, and I'll share Amy's email address if that's okay as well. So, but yeah, we'll definitely share it. Amy, on the financial side, you said, obviously you have to look out for FLSA, but also IRS. How's it work with giving the stipend? Is it a 1099?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they will get a 1099 and they're advised of that from the very beginning.
Sure. Great. And I had one other question, but I don't think I wrote that one down. So Mike has a question. Mike, go ahead.
Thank you for the presentation. We appreciate it. I'm in Ashland City, which is just outside Nashville, Tennessee. So my question is, and Spencer, you just reminded me, do you guys offer any, I presume, workman compensation or any type of additional death benefits in Pennsylvania?
Yes, so they are covered under the workman's compensation policy that's provided. We are required to have that, and the township funds that. So we have that, plus we've got a liability policy. In addition, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Pennsylvania relief associations, but every fire department has a organization that is funded through an insurance tax from the state. And it's designed specifically to purchase certain and death or life insurance policies and death benefits are one of those items that the Relief Association covers. So even if associates aren't full members, provide a, excuse, my child just walked in. They do provide a death benefit for all members, regardless of the cause of death. But for associates, for them, it only covers if they are killed in the line of duty while acting as a member of our department. So that's just a small change in the benefit that we provide to them. But we do have it there, and they would be covered under our additional life insurance policy that the Relief Association provides.
Thank you. I've got 2 follow-ups, if you don't mind. So we
Sure.
this year just started, we're in the infancy of an associates very similar to this with members of different departments already, and then they join us. We've run into now a COVID situation with one of those members. And so now we're trying to sort out, well, who's he covered under. They're pretty certain he got it at work, and they're just trying to figure out what day at work. So we're just trying to siphon through that. And then also I've got a marketing question. Did you focus on Facebook and Instagram, or have you looked into anything else? We're fixing to revamp ours for this year, for this end of year push. We have had huge success with Facebook, and then we have had some, dwindling success, even with trying to change up a few tactics after being able to see what we can get. But
that was our primary push, was Facebook and Instagram. And a lot of it after that became word of mouth. Our new chief of fire and emergency services that we brought in January, we had a big changeover of personnel at the end of the year. I called him the Pied Piper. He is known around this. I started getting applications out the wazoo when they heard he was going to be our chief. I'm like, well, it's Pied Pipers came. I mean, and it was all people who knew him, all people who wanted to come and be here in a program that he was running. So he was a great influence on some of the members that we got at the beginning. But yeah, we've just been kind of not so much during COVID because we couldn't bring anybody in the station. So we weren't doing any marketings after March because, again, lockdown, couldn't bring anybody in. We put another push out and late August, when things kind of started relaxing a little bit, that we felt comfortable bringing people in for training. And we've gotten a few since then. But like I said, everything was Facebook and Instagram to start.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So Amy, Debbie commented that this is a fantastic program, and thanks for sharing. I also wanted to ask, outside of COVID, what's the biggest challenge you've had with this program, and what do you see? Do you see changes for this in the future, or do you think you'll keep it the way it is?
Our biggest challenge right off the bat was gear.
Yeah.
We knew we had a gear order. We did anticipate the strong response that we got. So we actually borrowed some. We also then ran into a space problem. We only had so many gear lockers. Some of the little details we didn't think of ahead of time. Where are we going to put 30 sets of extra gear when we don't have enough lockers for everybody? So we came up with an accommodation for that. As far as changes that we're looking at, we're trying to increase, like I said, we tried to increase the amount of money they could earn annually, and we got shut down by our solicitor. We're trying to increase the number of staffing. We're in that trial period till the end of the year and see if that will work. Hopefully, if we have more opportunities for people to come, we can get some more interest so people don't think that, everything's taken and, there's not going to be any time. Like when I talked about the figures on the contrary, we still have quite a few openings. We have some days that are very popular, like for some reason Thursday nights are always full, Friday nights are always full, but we've been waning on the weekends during the summer because everybody's out doing something else on the weekends. We're hoping we'll see that trend change come winter. But again, we're sort of still within that first year growth of this, because the first class of 10 came in December, and then the next class of 13 came in February. So it was, right when we came into COVID that we had an abundance of people. So
sure.
Curious to see how it'll work through the winter.
Yeah.
And then we'll make changes. Like I said, our new chief is very proactive. He's trying to make this work. He wants to make sure we have the staffing, that we're meeting the expectations of the township. Great. And they're very supportive for us to make changes to make it work as well.
Excellent. No, that sounds great. Yeah, it sounds really great. What does anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you, Amy. I'm going to open things up to sort of a round table. And so if anybody has any comments or anything they want to share since our last meeting, we'd love to hear from you. Any challenges, any successes, we really want to hear about those. So.
Hey, Amy, before you go, what's your department's budget?
So our fire tax that we collect is at 2.3 mils. There's a portion of it that's set aside into a capital fund, and we've been running, as far as operations, which includes all maintenance, all costs, recruitment, retention, training, everything, about a half million. So that's what we've been using for our complete operational budget. That also includes salary, because my salary comes up.
Great, thank you.
As far as the recruitment and retention budget that we've been working on previously, quarterly incentive, that's what used to be the retention budget until we created the stipend program. We have, I believe, for 2021 budget, we 5% cover of the program. So we know we're not going to be 100% all year, but we wanted to make sure we had enough money in the budget. So I believe it's like about 130,000 that we've reallocated from some other places that we felt we didn't need the extra budget money in places, and kind of squeezed here and pinched there. And we have some new apparatus. We don't have as much vehicle costs. And the township is willing to kind of push a little bit more money towards that. So that's what we've allocated towards that for next year.
Amy, you said you had 93 applicants and you only took in 34?
Yeah.
What was that due to?
Some people said that $25 just because they were from further away. Some people just, the program of the hours, they said they didn't think it would work for them. Some people just never got back in touch. So okay. Even with follow-up, they just kind of ghosted. So I didn't think that, 1 out of 3 was that bad to pick up in this program.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, that sounds great. That sounds great. So, well, thanks again. I'll open it up again for anybody for roundtable. What I will say, Amy also had, and maybe, Amy, tell them about what your realtor did for COVID.
So our realtor, yeah, we have a fire police officer who's also a realtor who has the 3D cameras. He came in to our station and created a 3D virtual tour of our facility that we then posted on our website, that you can actually come in and it's like you're virtually walking through the station. You walk down the hallway so you can see the pictures on the walls. You walk into the day room and you can see the whole 360 pivot from where you're standing. I get up the steps and down the steps. It's a pretty nice feat he did. And since we couldn't bring anybody into the station, that's where I would push people to take a virtual tour, and if they were interested, and see what amenities we had and what the new addition looked like. So that worked out really well. And since COVID, he's added our training facility, our training tower, and our second station on. So we also have those on our website.
That's pretty neat. Yeah, we were also talking and saying
it was
that
pretty
it's that's just a great way to reach out, especially if you share it on social media, and then you can even have some fun. I'm sure everybody's got a realtor in their area, and I'm sure you could talk to them and most of them would be glad to come out and do that for you, because I'm sure they would want you to put their name on your social media as well, but might be worth it. But you could also have fun and just do a video like the MTV Cribs we were saying. You could do something like that and make a video yourself of your station, make it kind of fun and funny, so that maybe it'll go viral or something. I think that's the way that works. But yeah, that'd be kind of neat. Kind of along those lines.
I think we've all had to find creative way just about everything this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it never ceases to amaze me, the stuff I hear. So I know some people have been talking on the emails about virtual career fairs, and there was some good conversation about that. And also remind everybody, and if you didn't get this information, just let me know. There were 2 opportunities for departments to team up. So Columbia Southern has what's called a learning partnership, where they'll give a discount to your members if you team up with them. And Marist College also has some discounts for their emergency services degrees. So if you have any questions about those, they were in the email group here about 2 weeks ago. And if you didn't get them or need more information, let me know. There was also some stuff floating around about live-in programs, and we're going to try to have somebody deliver a presentation on that in the future. We're actually booked up have presenters until February, and we go from there. So, but if somebody's got a good live-in program, we'll definitely do that. I see we did have somebody comment that they wanted to ask a question about SAFER, and we'd love to have that. Go ahead, whoever's got that question. Go ahead, Amy. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just wondering if anybody had any success, or anybody in their local area had any success with the SAFER grant that's currently being awarded.
Anybody win it this year?
So Amy, it's Bill Morris, Bushnell's Basin Fire Department up near Rochester, in the shadows of Brighton, which we all are. We just secured in last meeting, just as I was getting ready to talk to Spencer, I got handed an envelope, and that was we were awarded the SAFER right then and there. So Spencer saw my reaction, and fortunately, there were some Brighton folks on the call. I think Paul Chambers might have been on. David, I think you were on. Rick was on. So I was able to thank them, because we pretty liberally plagiarized their application. And, we toned it down a bit, because we're not as big as they are, but we were able to secure $70,000. So we're pretty happy about that.
Fantastic.
What's it going towards, Bill?
Pardon me?
What's it going towards? That is, congratulations, yeah.
So there's some money going to our bunker program to upgrade the facility. There's the Explorer program is updating their equipment and their gear, and then everything else is recruitment and retention. So we have basically, we're going to have a pack and go kit for job fairs and other community events that we'll go off to. We're going to do some production for some videos and things like that. So it's pretty exciting. It's really
great. That's great.
David, thank you for that. I bust Brighton's chops a lot, but they are very gracious. If they've been successful, they share that. So
great department.
They are.
Looks like Aspirin won a SAFER grant. Aspirin, y'all want to speak on that?
Sure. I mean, from what I remember when we submitted, it was a couple of years ago now. I think the period to use it's over, but we had submitted and we got funding to send I think it was 12 people to FDIC each year, and to do internal training and leadership classes, and to do a length of service type award program. So it was close to $250,000 that we had gotten back. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago now.
Nice, nice. You know, Bill was talking about Brighton, and I have learned a lot from them outside of Rochester. One of the things they did, and I can't remember, I'm not sure if David, that's you that's on, but they actually, in their SAFER grant, instead of doing marketing and some of those things, they actually asked for executive coaching on the retention side to work through. I believe it was David. Is that you from Brighton on? I see a David, but it doesn't say who. So they had actually gotten they had gotten their grant to give executive coaching to their top leadership on how to really think about recruitment and retention strategically, especially, and I can imagine that how that would help out with retention tremendously. So, but yeah, some good stuff. There's lots of good stuff out there.
I'm here, Spencer, if you need me.
Yeah. So I'm speaking for you. What did you guys do on the executive coaching thing?
So yeah, we did executive coaching. So our grant is probably 3 years old, and we did executive coaching for about 2.5 years, and it was all about leadership and really coming together and putting together a coordinated effort in leadership for our volunteers. But as you know, we're a combination fire department, so we have 32 paid firefighters and about 85 volunteers. So it worked for both organizations to come together. And if you know, as we've learned from you, if your leadership is together and leads well, then that's 50% of the battle right there.
That is the tough part. Yeah, I just thought that was a great idea. Yeah, what's the practical thing that y'all saw that came out of that?
I think one of the things it did is so it was individual coaching as well as group coaching. And so each individual really got a lot of good insight on how they could improve.
Great.
And it was a one-on-one coaching. And then the group would come together and we work much closer together.
Great.
And it's an everyday battle with an organization the size as most of these fire departments to stay together at the top, to lead as really one voice, even though there's all these different pieces in the puzzle.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you pick somebody from the business world to do executive coaching? Yeah,
we hired a business executive coach that had done some not-for-profit work, some charitable work. Somebody knew him from actually his wife had done some work with us.
Okay.
And he came highly recommended, and that's what he does full time. He actually left his professional career in business to become a full-time coach.
Excellent. Yeah, that's very interesting. That's one of the more out of the box ones I've seen. So, and of course it came from Brighton. So, well, thanks everybody. Anybody else have anything else to share? Okay, so next month, November 19th at 7, we've got Zach Hoddle. He's from Woodstock Fire Department, not New York, Virginia, the good Woodstock. So he's from Woodstock in Virginia. He's going to talk on a program that they have called the Apprenticeship Program. And so I hope you guys will join us then. And of course, I'll be sending out an invitation for that. I'll catch up with Amy, get the slides, and I'll share her email address when I follow up with this and the link to the YouTube video for this meeting, as well as their regular channel. So as always, let me know if we can help in any way. And thanks, Amy, again so much. It was a great presentation and very interesting concept. And so I hope to see y'all again next month. Have a good one.
Thank you. You do the same. Good night.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Spencer.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Amy. I enjoyed it.